The latest polling in the United States shows that if a presidential election was held today, without doubt, Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden. Even the left-leaning Fareed Zakaria on CNN is admitting that with less than 6 months to go until the election, things do not look good for Biden.
Trump is now leading in almost all the swing states, but behind those numbers lie even more troubling details. As someone worried about the prospects of a second Trump term, I think it's best to be honest about reality. I understand that polls are not always accurate, but in general, they have tended to underestimate Donald Trump's support, not overestimate it. The shift here is stark. On the question of who voters trust more to deal with the economy, Trump has a 22-point lead over Biden, according to an NBC poll from January. This marks a 15-point bump for Trump compared to the same poll in 2020. Immigration, Biden is 35 points behind Trump as to who would handle it better. Only 33% of Americans said they approved of Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war, which is now opposed both by people who think he is too soft and people who think he is too hard on Israel. The one that troubles me the most is on the question of who was the more competent. Joe Biden led Donald Trump by 9 points in 2020, but Trump now leads by 16 points in January 2024. That 25-point shift could be a reflection of people's sense that the president's age is affecting his capacity to govern.
Yeah, you reckon? It seems that the only way for the Democrats to win now is to find a superstar to replace Biden or put Trump in jail. But every time they try to bring charges against Trump, they end up making him look more like a martyr. In the current trial running in New York, the state prosecution, it's a Democrat government and a Democrat prosecutor, is trying to make the case that Donald Trump paid hush money to a former porn star that he'd had an affair with named Stormy Daniels. That in itself isn't technically illegal, but the technicality that Trump may have falsified some of his business records to cover up the payment is. Whatever it takes, right? Anyway, the credibility of Stormy Daniels, or whatever existed of it in the first place, was completely shot this week when left-leaning, Democrat-voting, Trump-hating TV host Bill Maher revealed the absolute untrustworthiness of Daniels as a witness in any way, shape or form whatsoever. Maher replayed a video clip from an interview he did with Stormy Daniels in 2018, telling him that she was fully consenting in the sex that she claims to have had with Trump. But that completely contradicted the far more Me Too style victim story she delivered in the court witness box this week. Here's how Bill Maher told it on his show.
And first I asked her why she had sex with Trump. Listen to that, and then listen to what she says after that, and then we're going to talk about the trial, because it's quite at variance of what she said to me in 2018. Why did you Donald Trump? Okay, but you say it's not a Me Too case.
It is not a Me Too case. I mean, I wasn't assaulted. I wasn't attacked or raped or coerced or blackmailed. They tried to shove me in the Me Too box to further their own agenda. And first of all, I didn't want any part of that because it's not the truth, and I'm not a victim in that regard.
That's not what she's saying now. She's talking about he was bigger and blocking the way. It's all the Me Too buzzwords. She said there was a power imbalance of power, for sure. My hands were shaking so hard. She said she blacked out. Blacked out? She's a porn star.
Right. Well, that's one witness with absolutely zero credibility. Next. So anti-Trump commentators in America then shifted gear and made a big deal about the fact that the star witness in the case, former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, was going to be in the stand. Cohen used to work for Trump. He described himself in the court as Trump's fixer. And he's the only person that's likely to provide any direct evidence that Trump ordered a cover-up of a payment to Daniels. But the thing about Cohen is he hates Trump and he has an axe to grind. He spent more than a year in prison after pleading guilty to 9 federal crimes that had nothing to do with Trump. And he was disbarred as a lawyer. Since getting out of jail, he's had his own podcast in which he constantly criticizes Trump, and he's written 2 books about Trump, and one of them was called Revenge. So he's hardly what you'd call a credible witness, especially since this is what he used to say about Trump.
One thing Donald Trump is, he's a compassionate man. He's a man of great intellect, great intuition, and great abilities. Mr. Trump's memory is fantastic, and I've never come across a situation where Mr. Trump has said something that's not accurate. Mr. Trump truly cares about America. He loves this country. He's an amazing negotiator, maybe the best ever in the history of this world. The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine.
That little compilation from CNN. Yeah, just a little bit inconsistent from Cohen there. Funny how the Democrats and the left always say that Trump is the one who puts the country's democratic institutions and conventions at risk. Then they proceed to do that themselves by using the entire criminal justice system for their political goal of trying to bring him down. The hypocrisy. People are waking up to it though. The whole thing is just backfiring on the Democrats big time. A point not even lost on CNN's Fareed Zakaria.
And the trials against him keep him in the spotlight, infuriate his base, who sees him as a martyr, and even may serve to make him the object of some sympathy among people in general who believe that his prosecutors are politically motivated. This happens to be true, in my opinion. I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump.
Wow. There is the admission, even from the left-wing media, that this is nothing but a political witch hunt. Fox News commentator Joe Concha summed it all up really well.
Fareed Zakaria is absolutely correct, and we need to hear more of this kind of commentary from those who say they are journalists over at that network or at MSNBC. Both exist as the resistance networks for the most part to Donald Trump, who you see on your screen, that there is no there when it comes to this made-for-cheesy TV show trial in Lower Manhattan. Zakaria knows what anyone sane and sober has observed over the last 4 weeks. No crime has been defined to this point. And Michael Cohen, who has been acting like one of the sorriest figures you could possibly imagine and wearing Superman T-shirts on TikTok and selling merchandise around jailing his former boss, apparently this is the star witness for Alvin Bragg. If they're depending on Cohen, who already has gone to jail, who has already admitted to lying countless times in terms of when he's on the witness stand, we're looking at either a hung jury or even an acquittal, even in Manhattan, which voted basically 9 out of 10 people voted for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in 2020. So this is where we're at this point. And when you consider Fani Willis, Jack Smith, those trials are probably happening after Election Day. This lawfare attempt to take out Donald Trump looks to be over. And then, Carly, wow, we may have an election that's not based on trials and what we've been seeing over all these weeks, but on issues, the things people care about. And that's the last thing Democrats want at this point. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but it's what the people want. Excellent analysis there from journalist and commentator Joe Concha on the US Fox News network. Of course, it's not over yet. If Trump gets convicted of a crime, public opinion could shift sharply against him. But oh, the damage this is doing to the reputation of the United States. What an absolute banana republic these politically motivated Democrat trials are making the country seem. If you like that content, there's a lot more where that came from. This is The Other Side, a show that comes out every Friday night that summarises all the news of the week without the woke. And we would love for you to subscribe and join us. As an Aussie show, your support means a lot to us. So please subscribe here or here and smash that little notification bell, and you can watch a full episode right here.